When I stand beside a river, I feel time slow down. The water carries stories of life, of struggle, of renewal. Around the world, women have stood beside these rivers, defending them, healing them, and in doing so, healing us all. I am Besjana Guri, and this is River Women, a podcast from LUMI, telling the stories of extraordinary women and their work to protect rivers around the world. Over the past 10 years, as I have worked to protect the mighty Vjosa Wild River, I have met so many incredible citizens, often women and young people. And being awarded the Goldman Environmental Activism Prize for Europe in 2025 opened my eyes to the dedication of women to this work across the globe. This is what inspired me to found the LUMI NGO to amplify the voices of female river defenders. And I'm delighted to bring some of their very special stories to you in this series. Today I'm in Tirana, a city environment that feels a long way from the wild nature. But I'm feeling inspired and as though anything is possible. Because I'm reflecting on the work of KRISTINE Tompkins and Sofia Heinonen, two women who have transformed conservation into an act of courage and love, and done it at enormous scale. In the far south of Chile and Argentina lies Patagonia, a land of vast horizons and restless rivers. This is where KRISTINE Tompkins turned a personal transformation into a continental movement.
I think a lot of people were surprised that I would want to step away from being the CEO of Patagonia company, which I still to this day think is the best company in terms of ethos, well, in almost in every way. Why would I step away from that great role? And it had nothing to do with Patagonia itself. I was very happy there. I still am engaged in the company. I never actually left 100%, but I wanted to do something different with my life. I felt like at the age of 40, I had been working with Yvonne and Melinda Chenard since I was 22, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I needed to step away. I didn't want to find myself at 60 or 70 years old in the same chair that I was in 1993. I met almost simultaneously with these thoughts Doug Tompkins, who would become my husband shortly thereafter. And he had left Esprit Company, gotten out of the clothing business for similar reasons that I was feeling at the time. And we ended up going to the southern part of South America and spending the next 28 years there.
Together with her late husband Doug, KRISTINE Tompkins created and expanded 15 national parks across Chile and Argentina, protecting nearly 15 million acres of wildlands. Her vision wasn't just about saving land. It was about redefining what's possible when passion meets purpose.
Doug and I had a big plan when we got started in southern Chile. He had bought a relatively small piece of forest that needed to be protected, and we didn't have any idea that, we should get into the creation of making national parks. It wasn't so obvious at that moment. So we bought a second property and then a third, and then we began to realize maybe you can really aggregate land together. And a few years after that, I wonder if we could just donate it to the country and make new national parks, because there were some national parks in the United States that have been created through private donations to public ownership. And that's how we got started. Just recently, in the last 18 months, we have started looking very deeply at Rivers, of course, we know they're beautiful. Some of them are contaminated. We know most of the stories about rivers very superficially. But now we're beginning to see that they are the highways. They are the autostradas of a continent. And we need to protect them because they are the blood veins of life on Earth. But in an individual country, if we don't protect our rivers, we are losing the possibility of really protecting our communities, our own soils, the species who are using these rivers as highways. So we have really shifted the depth of our understanding about the importance of rivers.
Hundreds of kilometers north in the Iberia wetlands of Argentina, another woman carries the same flame. Sofia Heinonen leads Rewilding Argentina, a movement born from the Tompkins vision but driven by local hands and hearts.
I was working with the government in National Park Service when I started working there when I finished my university. I'm a biologist, and we were working to protect basically ecosystems, very endangered places. And the only way and the only tool that we were thinking at that time was to protect by law, by passing these bills in the Congress and protecting places. But then 25 years ago, Doug and Kris Tompkins came to South America. They were working with rewilding and bringing back the wolf in Yellowstone. And they bring the idea that we have to restore the ecosystems. We are in this moment that it's not enough to protect, but we need to restore nature. And so they propose that we need to bring back the jaguar, that is the top predator of South America, and also the giant otters, all the top predators, and the keystone species. For that, it was like mind-blowing, it's changing our paradigm. But we say, well, yes, we don't know nothing about that, but we understand that it's important to take action and to move forward. And after one generation, 25 years from that moment, we realized it was not crazy to propose these things. And we have now the jaguars, and we have to look forward 25 years and think what will be needed for the next generation.
Sofia and her team have reintroduced 14 species, including the jaguar, absent from Argentina for 70 years. Each return marks not just an ecological victory, but a cultural one. Now jaguars are leading them to the next initiative, a continental movement to protect the Paraná Basin, spanning over 6,900 kilometers.
I was born in a ranch in the middle of nature at that time. And for me, it's like personally is where I feel more spiritual and I feel more strong when I'm in nature than when I'm in a city. So I always think, and I was willing to go back to the nature. And I find out that by restoring ecosystems was the best way to come back and try to bring those species that were not there anymore, but we still have them in other countries, in other places. So working with jaguars, working with giant otters, working with trees, planting, translocating, reintroducing is really a positive way to feel that we have a purpose in life. It's not all about feeling that we are losing the battle, but we can do something that is really positive.
Her work transforms not just landscapes, but livelihoods. Communities once dependent on extractive industries now thrive on ecotourism and pride.
We moved to the places where we want to take action. We are part of the neighborhood. So what we find out is it's very difficult to lead from far away. We are more than 200 people in our organizations. We all live in the places we want to make the change. And we became the neighbors, and we have the same needs that the community. The big difference is that we understand the urgency of the action, because we come here to Amsterdam, we go to New York, we were the big cities where the big strategies are think and they're pushed by nations. So we understand the urgency of the action. We have the global picture. And when you are from a community, perhaps you think that you have time. So the process on the ground are like slower, and it's difficult to move people to act when they don't feel the urgency. So that is, I think, is a tiny difference between people that come from global perspective to live in the ground, to become neighbors, than the ones that never left the trenches. And we have to take them to see the big picture, but trying not to leave the ground.
For both Kris and Sofía, rewilding isn't just about saving land. It's about changing our relationship with life, about learning from rivers, from patience, and from each other.
If you look at some rivers that have been so damaged over time, if you go to New York City, one side is the mighty Hudson River and the other side is the East River. And in the 40s, 50s, 60s, you were not allowed to swim in that water. Everything was devastatingly toxic. And today, you can swim in those rivers. And just a few decades later, a state decides to protect what is the blood veins of their culture, their territory. And so we know it's possible, even with some of the biggest rivers that are so damaged, it is possible to bring them back. It's imperative to bring them back economically, ecologically, socially, culturally, the happiness quotient. I think we, and I mean this kind of globally, we didn't really realize the importance and fragility of river systems.
We always have feel this anxiety, we are not doing as much as is needed, or there's no worth it to continue. But I think being in a community, being part of a movement, always push you to continue, because the energy of the group is the one who leads. And we are a big team. We can rely on our partners and our team to continue, because the energy is with the team, within the team and within the community. I think being a hero and thinking that heroes are the ones who save the planet is really a good story. But we know that we need the community to really have these challenges that we have success.
Well, first of all, I think all of us have learned that the conservation of territory and the seas is not only possible, but essential. And you can't separate out territory from the health and welfare inside that territory. If you don't have top predators in a territory, those parks, that land is not healthy. So for us, we can't think about the conservation of territory in the absence of rewilding, because just owning land and protecting it is not enough. And I think most people understand that today, that if you're going to restore, regenerate territories, it's not just locking up the territory itself. It's making sure that species from top predators down are well and present. And it is possible. Somebody asked me, why do you guys do this? And I said, I don't think that's the question. I think the question is, why isn't everybody doing it?
I think what I learned from Doug and Kris is dream big. It's important that your dreams don't cut your creativity. Don't feel that you cannot do it. Better dream big and find the way. The second one is you have to make decisions in the ground. You cannot make it from far away, so you have to go and live in the places where the action is taken.
2 women, 2 stories. One movement where courage meets care and where the wild still has a voice. In their journey, Kris and Sofía remind us that restoration is not a dream, it's a decision. When we protect rivers, we protect the pulse of our planet. But this story doesn't end here. Next, we travel deep into the Amazon to meet Mariluz Kanakiri Murayari, the Kukama woman who gave a river legal rights and a voice of its own, an incredible leader who I met when we were both awarded the Goldman Prize in 2025, and now I'm happy to say a great friend. And we journey north to the Netherlands, where Leanne Foa walks thousands of kilometers asking one radical question. What if every river on Earth was drinkable again? I'm Besjana Guri, and this is River Women, presented by LUMI.